Hi, everyone. Happy Friday. It is
Hey,
time for another live session of our Heat Press for Profit podcast. And while you guys are joining on, I am going to do our Heat Press for Profit podcast intro and then give you a little bit of details about really what this series is going to look like over the next several months. I'm really excited about this series as it's definitely a hot topic in our industry and especially with artists everywhere. So stay tuned. But let me go ahead and dive into that intro and we will get started because it's definitely going to be a little bit longer session today, and that's perfectly okay. But make sure you have your questions ready because there will be a lot to go over. So, welcome to the Heat Press for Profit podcast, your go-to resource for everything related to your apparel decoration business success. Thank you for joining the team at Stahls and listening to topics that come straight from the heart of the apparel decoration community. We'll discuss lucrative business strategies, insider tips, technology advancements, and cutting-edge trends. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting your business, this podcast was designed to provide invaluable insights, how-to perspectives, and inspiring stories from industry experts and apparel decorators just like you. So today's topic is going to be on AI and art creation. Now, like I said, this is going to be a series. So we are going to have 5 different sessions where we go over different aspects of AI art creation, from understanding the AI art to really why copyright infringement is important, how to utilize that in your business, and just really kind of developing these conversations. That way we can bring awareness to the industry, but also understand that there is a lot of good in this as well. So today's guest is Dane Clement. You
hey,
guys know him as the art expert, and you know what? He is a big fan of AI, and I think he is the perfect source to really kind of just dive into why it makes sense for apparel decorators and specifically heat printers. So, Dane, thank you. I know you were double booked
hey.
today, and I got to
All right.
snag you away.
Well, you come
But
first. You come first.
oh my gosh. So, we are talking about AI. And for those that have questions on anything AI, go ahead and pop them in the comments. That way we can see them come up. Sometimes there is a delay. But this is also going to be the type of session where we're going to pull up different platforms and software, kind of see the difference, really kind of dive a little bit deeper. That way you guys can understand what each software service plan, I don't really know what to call it, Dane, but how
Your
they
apps. Yeah.
apps, there you go, how
Yeah.
they can help you provide efficiency, and then just kind of give you a little bit of awareness to why one may make sense more than the other. So, Dane, let's start off with really just kind of understanding AI art. Like, what is
Sure.
that besides
Yeah.
artificial intelligence?
So, yeah. So, it's something that I struggle with, in a sense of have a love hate relationship with it, is how I like to say it. So I hate it more than I love it, I think, but I really love it. So that'll tell you I get mixed emotions in the brain, right? So one, it's amazing at what it does, because I mean I'm an artist. I'm an old school. Of course, this is pretty embarrassing and pretty depressing. That canvas has been there probably for a year and it's been completely untouched because I'm too busy working on this side on the computer part, right? So but I've been an artist my whole life, and I like all aspects of it, like paper and boards and canvases and that sort of thing. So I've been drawing forever, and I've 30 plus year career with Great Dane Graphics, sitting with customers, getting to know what they were looking for, that sort of thing. And it was like, hey, I need I don't know, I got a road race coming up, and it's whatever it is, and we would start our drawings in sketches, and I know the time it took to get that out of the customer's head, right? I know how long it would take me to paint the stuff that AI is generating now is insane. And 10 seconds, I can get 4 full-on finished illustrations, colored, the whole bit. Now, they're usually not perfect, and if you want it perfect, you got to clean it and work on it. But what you get it immediately, instantaneously, and you can't do that as an artist. You can't. I mean, I know how much time it takes. So that's the love-hate part, right? But for business, like, say, if you're an apparel decorator and you get paid by how many shirts you decorate, right? Put some transfers on them, smash them down. How many of those can you get through in a day? That's where you make your money. You don't make your money spending a week on a cool painting and coming up with a nice looking image and then starting, right? Because it's just not for that, right? So if you're a fine artist, do it, do that stuff on your own, but you can't beat this. There's artists, I know a bunch of them that hate it, won't touch it, won't look at it, ignoring it, like, it's not real, I'm not going to do it, and it's going to go away. It's not going away. This genie is out of the bottle, is taking over the world. Unfortunately, it's here, right? So you have to do two things. One, you can ignore it, but you're going to get blown by, or you can embrace it and you can say, okay, what is this stuff? And we'll show you some of that today. And like you mentioned, we'll do future podcasts and get a little deeper in certain things. But it's a way to get started. You can sit with you, just create your own designs. You get your customers' concepts and put them in there, and you're getting immediately like thumbnails, better than thumbnails. You're getting full-on images, but you get as many as you want. You just re-roll it. It's like pulling back in the day, they used to have levers on the slot machines. Nowadays they just got buttons. But it's like pushing the button.
They still have some levers.
Right. It's like, ooh, what are we gonna get today? It's like you never know. And sometimes they're great, and sometimes they're not so great, and that's all part of the fun, right? So it is. Now, one of the things that I still don't really understand 100%, but they say that these things are not stealing information from other people, right? They're not stealing intellectual property from artists or photographers and that sort of thing. I don't know if I buy that, because the way this stuff learns, there's trillions of images on the internet, and it just looked at all of them, right? So if I say, hey, give me an elephant, well, it says elephant. And it goes figure out and takes a look at the trillions of images that it's seen. And so I know what an elephant looks like. Oh, you want it riding a skateboard? Oh, okay. Well, I know what a skateboard is from the other trillions of images, and it just sort of mushes it together out of noise. That's what they say. And I suppose that's true, because I've never seen a photo of an elephant riding a skateboard yet. So, one of the things I have a problem with is when you can say, give me that elephant riding that skateboard, but in the style of one of your favorite artists or whatever, right? And that's, to me, that tells you that they're going to look at that person's stuff and they're stealing their ideas or their you can't patent a style, right? I can paint in anybody's style if I wanted to. Frank Frazetta, my favorite artist ever, or whatever. I can literally pick an artist and create something in that style, and it's totally legal as long as I'm not copying the image, right?
Sure.
So I guess it's not illegal, it's just not cool because of the force behind this thing, right? It's insane, it's crazy. And if you've never seen it, be prepared to get your mind blown, because mine sure was a couple of years ago when this first started hitting. So it's crazy, it's fun, and we're going for a ride for sure.
I know when it comes to coming up with concepts, or especially if we are working with customers and maybe they have a particular brand and they're coming to you as a decorator to help bring their brand to life, or they've got this great idea, but they know nothing about art and they really don't even know certain terms to be able to bring, to life what they're envisioning. And I'm one of those. There's terms where you and I will have conversations and I feel like I'm trying to describe something, and the only thing I can do is go to Pinterest, try to find a variety of different images, Mod Podge them together and go, this is what I'm looking for, or like, this is what I'm trying to come up with. Sure. And it's not me stealing somebody else's idea. Nope. It's me trying to figure out how to verbalize what my brain has created that only I can see. And there's times where, I wish I could just, cast it to the wall and then let you see it. It would help me so much in my life. But at the end of the day, when it comes to being able to combine visions with, maybe something that is already out there, along with what somebody is able to actually create, I think that's where AI comes into using keywords.
Sure.
And for a lot of people, especially not being in or trained in, traditional elements of art, or I can't, like, I'll doodle,
Sure.
I'll doodle. But I mean, how do you decide what keywords to
So
use?
it's pretty easy. So what keywords would you use when you search Pinterest, right? So if you know that your image that you want to create, whatever it might be, maybe you want it, I don't want any color. I just want like thick, bold, black outlines. I want it to look like a coloring book. I want it to look like a ink drawing or a pencil sketch or a flat vector style artwork, or
Mm.
whatever you have in your head, that's the first thing that needs to come out. You just plug them in the prompt. You tell the apps, just throw them in there and hit go and see what happens. And then what you get is you can, look at that and say, I like this one. Then you can start refining that prompt, right? That sort of thing. So don't be intimidated. If you can't figure the words, you would find a word to look inside of, like Pinterest or something. It's the same concept. Just whatever's in your head. If you want a flat vector, I want a really simple, cool icon style logo or something, put those words in that prompt and you're going to get something similar or something close. Or if you want a realistic whatever, put that word in there. I want a realistic tiger mascot. I don't want a vector drawing or a black line, tiger. Those kinds of things that's all it's about. It's just plugging in what you see. Now, one cool thing is all these apps, like we're going to look at 3 of them specifically. We're going to look at Midjourney. It's my favorite. It's the one I use mostly, but it is a pay for program. So you got to pay for it to use it. But it's probably the best one out there. Then there's Idiogram, which I think is awesome. And there's one that's called Leonardo. And depending on what you're looking for, both of those other ones, by the way, are free or pay for, right? So if you want it private and you want to use it, commercially, typically on all these, you have to, pay for something to use it commercially. So just whatever app you find, and there's a list. I mean, it just keeps going. There's thousands of them. It's crazy. And there's some you can use at work and some you probably shouldn't use at work, if you know what I mean. It's crazy. And I don't use any of those because you can't go there, right? But because you never know. I want a tiger or something. You never know what you're going to see. So it's just one of them things. Just be aware of that, right? But it's exciting. But the cool thing is all the apps will show you inspiration, right? Some of the cool images that people have created with it. And you can just scroll for inspiration. If you see something you're like, ooh, that's the style I'm thinking of, you click on it and then you'll show you the prompt that they use and all that sort of thing. So it's just like anything else. It's just you got to get started, and you just get started by putting words in the text box.
Does there have to be any type of organization to the way the words are placed in the text box?
So usually there's no real reason or no real rules, right? This is the rule. You have to do this first and that second and this third. No. So depending on what you want, you can move those words around. Typically, it's the words in the front or have more meaning. If you say, I want a vector style illustration of a team mascot of a tiger, well, since you end it with tiger, it's going to utilize that one probably. And then the vector style illustration that you started with. So you can just throw it in there and see what you get and then tweak it, right? Then move the vector to the front and then tweak it, and then hit it, re-roll that new one, and you start to fine tune it. And that's how you learn how to prompt for certain things. Here's a for instance. So when I do my prompting, I like to put in the front t-shirt graphic. And I do it because t-shirts need to be a good t-shirt. I've been designing them for 100 years, I think, right? You want them to free flow and just kind of go in and out of the shirt. You don't want a square. You don't want a perfect circle. You got to break those borders and stuff, right? So if you just go to these apps and say, whatever you can do a square format, 1-to-1, or portrait or landscape. I mean, you got control over all those kinds of things. And some of them do text, not the greatest, but some do better than others, and you'll see that today maybe. But so it's I don't know. I'm excited. I kind of want to get going in it. That's all. Like I start losing my mind here because it's fun and I can sit here and talk for another hour about this stuff, and it's gonna make one. And you might not even get what the heck I'm saying, but you're gonna as soon as they see it, it'll be ready to go. Makes sense totally.
So, for those of you that are tuning in live, we are going to go to, like Dane said, 3 different types of design software,
Maybe 4 if we
or
got
maybe
time.
4.
Yeah.
And that way you can
Update.
really see just how each one is different. We will use some prompts that my goal was to kind of try to trick it as best as possible, just to give you a true visual of what you're going to get, and then how, traditional techniques can come in and really clean it up or make it, better for print. And then we will be able to just kind of dive in a little bit deeper. And then we will go over some, challenges and just embracing opportunities with AI. If you're tuning in to where you are listening, wherever podcasts are streamed, just know that you can catch this replay on YouTube and I believe Facebook. But I do know that we do have a tab for lives on YouTube to where you can go and actually follow along and see what Dane is cooking. So Dane, let's go ahead and I'm going to let you take the reins and go into the design software aspect of it. And as questions come about, I will pop in. I will say that, Sean said, Dane is an absolute graphic artist beast or graphic design beast. I learned a lot from him at DAX KC. And then Brandy also said, good morning. Hey, Dane, you're my favorite artist of all time. So I love sharing that kind of stuff.
Cool.
But all right, Dane, show us what you got.
Yeah. As soon as I can find it. All right. So what are we seeing? Can you see my screen now?
Yep, I shared it.
All right. So this is Midjourney, right? Now Midjourney, I don't think it's available like you see it here just yet for everybody. So if you don't have an account, you may not be able to get to this part of it. It would probably be running in Discord here. So if you create a new account, like if you never used Midjourney, you think you want to try it, one, I recommend it because it's awesome. But wait till you see the others too. So, but Midjourney is just getting to the website. In fact, you see it's an alpha, right? It's not even real yet, but it's going to be. So it started out, you couldn't get to it unless you had over 10,000 images created in it. And then it was 5,000 images. And I don't know where it is now, but I'm past all that, right? So, but it will allow you to see inspiration just like the other apps. But if you've never had any account, right, and you start today, it might say go to Discord and create, and just follow those instructions and you will be able to use the app, right? So I just wanted to do this because pretty soon, I'm assuming that this is going to be how it looks, right? And I'll just real quick, I'm going to go to, this is Midjourney. We're going to take a look at Idiogram, which is really a cool, really good app. And then Leonardo is another one, right? And it looks like this. And this one's built on Stable Diffusion. I think this one is Idiogram is too, probably, but those are open source, apps. And those are the ones you got to make sure you have your settings for, your not safe for work stuff turned off and all that fun things. It's crazy. All right, so here's Midjourney. We can imagine whatever we want. So, did you think of something, Kelly? You want to put something in here?
Well, I said, so for those of you, he had asked me like what I thought of it. I'm like, okay, a bulldog. I don't even remember what I said. A
So
bulldog.
come up with something else. Look at the inspiration, and maybe something else will pop in your head. I mean, look at this. This is killer. These images don't exist until you click a button.
Let's do a person, a teen female playing tennis.
You're thinking of like a photo or artwork? That's the first thing I would decide.
Let's do artwork.
Okay, so
if somebody else has a better idea, pop it in the comments and we'll let you guys kind of go along with it. But for me, naturally, I just kind of automatically think like if I'm creating some artwork, what do I need? What do I want to be different? So You said bulldogs are difficult, but are tigers easier or harder?
Well, tigers are probably easier, but I mean, it'll do bulldogs. Why don't we do that? Because a lot of times people are going to have oddball mascots, right? And that's probably why
Yep.
they want to use AI. So, all right, let's do that. We're going to do give me a mascot. You want a vector image?
Yeah, let's do a vector image bulldog.
A bulldog, what? Doing something? Just his head?
Yeah, holding a football in the Heisman stance.
Ooh, it's Heisman. I forget. You would have to do that.
Hey Siri, how do I spell Heisman?
There you go.
Heisman. Heisman.
Did you hear it?
I did. Thank
I
you,
was
Siri.
curious if she was going to pick it up, but she did. That's awesome.
So I hit go, right? I hit the return button. If you notice, you don't see anything here. When you have an account, if you notice on my Explore, that's the Explore page. That's the inspirational page. If you click on the create button here, you can see what happens. So these are the images that I created, right? This Midjourney puts some words in there. Sometimes it does a decent job, sometimes not. And these are this is what we have now. So there's your bulldog. See, he's not the greatest. That one's not so bad. Looked like he's choking himself.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. He's kind of cool. Here's my prompt, right? So a mascot vector image of a bulldog holding a football. Now, and none of those, by the way, are in the Heisman stance, right?
Yeah, I feel like some of them are trying, except for the one that's got his missing an arm or he's choking himself.
Yeah, I don't know.
The arm is missing.
So this one's probably the best, and if you bring this to Photoshop, you might be able to do something different with this arm and stuff. That's some really cool stuff. Don't know we have time for those things today, but you'll get the idea in another video, another podcast that we do when we get to in the weeds kind of thing. So let's just go ahead and take this prompt, right? We'll copy it. I'm going to put it back in this Imagine box here, and let's just change it up. So let's do this. Let's do a team mascot. Come on. A team mascot of a bulldog, right? Holding a football in the Heisman. I didn't even finish it, so maybe that's why it didn't give me anything. A team mascot, right? Holding a football in the Heisman stance, maybe?
Yeah. Or position, stance, position.
I'm going to try position. Vector image, you know what? Using red, black, and gray colors. How's that?
Perfect.
Black, and gray colors. I'm going to do this because this is one I do like that isolated on a white background. And the reason I'm doing that is because it's easier for me to, I'm going to do t-shirt graphic too in the front. Because the t-shirt graphic part, maybe not with a mascot, since we're being very specific that we want a mascot, but it's gonna otherwise it'll open it up and just free flow. This already is there, right? So that looks pretty good. Now this little hamburger icon here, right? If we click on that, we have it a square. We can make it a portrait, which if we wanted to add words to it, that might be the better way to do it because it's like a full front of a t-shirt or something, right? We can do it landscape. So we could pick one of those. These things, stylization, and we can change. In fact, I want to just keep it at reset at the normal defaults now. And then if we want, we can change it again later. So you got different speeds. So I can do a relaxed mode. It uses less tokens or whatever they're called. All the apps call them different. So it'll use up less, but it's going to take you longer to get. Your fast mode or your turbo mode is the fastest, but you burn through your stuff a lot more that way. So that looks pretty good, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and hit the return button. And let's do
when you say burn through your stuff, do you mean in terms of like
so many
coins,
so you get so many tokens, coins, images, or they literally have different words. All the apps have different words for those things. So you might get like 2,500 a month or something, and which is a lot because it's usually like between 2 to 5
Oh,
tokens
wow.
per image. So you can go a long time, right? You don't need I wouldn't pay for the the big expensive plans for any of these. I would just go with it. Get these. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
you know. But the Heisman position, it doesn't know, and the reason it doesn't know it, right? Maybe is because it's not that common. It's very specific for one sport. You know what I mean? And so it's one of those things. And I don't know how many. I'm sure there's thousands and thousands of images of the Heisman Trophy, but it doesn't understand. So but that's part of the deal. So if you sit down with a real person and a real artist, you might have better luck. Might take a little longer because there's no way in the heck you're going to get 4 of these in 10 seconds like we just did. I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
These are full on drawn. They're colored and they're not perfect. And I would fix a whole lot, like especially that foot thing. Got a broken leg here. I mean, there's a lot of things that bother me about it, but you can see it's interesting. So and by the way, so let's say we want, I don't know, you want one of these? Not
Yeah.
really.
Go with the first one. I thought the first one had some.
This one?
Yeah, it has a lot of really good character. I see a lot of potential. The hand, I don't know what's happening there. But like I could easily see something like that where we've added numbers or text to the jersey or the headband, adjusted the colors just a little bit to kind of complement maybe whatever school you're working with. But I could also see that done in a variety of different medias, from direct to film to flex style, really just kind of bringing it to life. And then I think you could even simplify it to where you don't have all of those details, and maybe you are using a, say screen print where it really needs to be 3 colors versus, I don't know, however many are in there, 5, 7.
Right. No, true. So look at that. This one pretty poor image. It's probably the best we got because, again, the Bulldogs are their worst for some reason. But you just pulled all those things right out of your head after looking at this image. That's the beautiful thing about this stuff. It took us 20 seconds to create those things. You get something, you got to fix some of this stuff. And the cool thing, if you're a Photoshop user, the fixing of this stuff is pretty good. It's pretty easy these days, right? So coming over here, we can vary this thing. So we say we like this guy, give it, vary it, give me some more versions, right? You can download the image. You could, do other things with it. So let's take a look and see what we're doing. So I hit the vary button and it says, okay, this is the image that we're looking for. So I'm going to make some variations of that image, and it works on it. You can kind of see here, right? So they're similar to this one. Obviously they're not these other ones. And, this hand's a whole lot better, right? This is probably the best one because you have to fix that football, but he looks pretty good. That's not so bad. So it's getting closer to being usable already. Now you need to add, the numbers and the names and things like that if you're going to do those kinds of things. But so you can download this image right now. If I go to up here, this little download symbol there, right? You can click on that. And this thing is that's probably private on mine, but so download the image. You can upscale it. Now that's a thing when it comes to AI. So Midjourney allows you to upscale inside the app. Not all of the apps do that, right? So Dolly, of course, it's been a while since I've been in it. It didn't. It gives you a 1024 by 1024, and then you'd have to upscale it. Pixels, by the way, 1024 pixels by 1024 pixels. And you'd have to upscale it in a different app. And I will tell anybody here that if you want a killer app for free, it's this one. It's called Upscale. And I use it. It's awesome. I use the one downloaded to my computer, right? So this is what it looks like. And I can upscale them, select the image. I use in digital art or photography stuff, depending on what the image is that you create. And you hit this upscale button. You can upscale with this software, and it's called upscale, right? .com. You spell it this way. It's free and it's awesome. I also pay for this Topaz AI, which is awesome as well. But you got a lot more options and fixable things. It'll enhance it and fix bad eyes or blurry things. So you pay for that one. That's about $100. This one's free, and the upscale piece of it is every bit as good, maybe even better, because you can get even larger sizes. So it's insane. So yeah, and this stuff changes weekly, and it's hard for me to keep up. I'm not gonna lie. So all right, so let's do this. Let's just grab this this guy here. Let's download him. Can't download him. Where's he gonna go here? All right, so hang on. Let me see if I can find him. Oh, my downloads. Here he is. All right, we're gonna go to Photoshop Beta since I already got it open. If I go to image size, right? Oops. Come over here. If I go to, well, let's see. At 1024, but I'm gonna go to 300 DPI here, or pixels per inch, right? So you see that's a low res at 300 pixels, which is what you want, especially if you want to get DTF transfers made. You want to make sure you have a high res file. If you want to screen anything you want to do decoration wise, you need to have high resolution, and that's where you'll find it, right? But if look, it's only 3.4 inches. Well, that's not going to work, right? Maybe left chest or something, you'll be good. But if you wanted to, you can upscale that guy. And let's do it, shall we?
So just because you downloaded the image that was created for you doesn't mean that it's going to be a high resolution, that you could go ahead and upload that.
Right. I can upscale it here in Midjourney. So over here, see, I can upscale it subtly or creatively, and it will give me a bigger file, right? So these are the kind of things that not all the apps do. That's why I wanted to point out that free one that I like. I think it's really, really good, because not every AI app is going to upscale. And when you upscale it, just the process of upscaling is going to cost you some tokens or whatever, right? So depending on the app that you use. So there's a lot of those things. And I can remix this image. We can remix it subtly. We can remix it strong, that sort of thing. And it's just going to go ahead and create those versions and make some adjustments to it, right? So it's kind of thinking here, right? So there's so much stuff you can do. And again, this is just inside of Midjourney, but let me see. While it's thinking and while it's at 23%, while it's doing its thing, let's just come here and let's just grab this guy and drop him in. So this is the upscale app, right, that I showed you. I just think it's killer. So I'm going to upscale it. I don't have to select my image because I just dragged and dropped it in there. It's a digital art, so I keep it there. That's really all I ever fool with. I don't do photography things with it. Set the output folder. It's just going to go to my desktop or wherever it sits now. But you can see right now, it's going to go from 1024 by 1024 pixels to 4,000 pixels by 4,098 pixels. I hit upscale, and it's crunching on my computer right now. And you see it's almost finished already. There it is. It's done. Now, the one thing I don't like about this app is when I blow in, I want to zoom in, right? So if I zoom in here, what am I zooming? I'm zooming in the stuff on the left. I don't need that blown up. I want to see him bigger.
Wrong thing is being zoomed in on.
Right. Wrong thing. But anyway, it's the one negative or con I can say. But if you focus in on an area, and can I do it? I can't even do it with my trackpad. It's inside the app, won't let me. But if you look at this eye, or as I start moving the slider, right, the left side is my original. Look at that right here. If you can, I mean, I know you probably can't, but it does an amazing job. Makes it super clean. As I mouse over, hopefully you can kind of get the idea and see that this half is much tighter. Just looking right above his nose is super clean, and then it gets a little blurry around this edge here, right? So, those kinds of things, again, it just did it for me here, which is right here. So let me bring this guy into Photoshop real quick. Right. So now if I take a look, I go to image size. If I go to 300 here, now we're at a little bit over 13.5 inches by 13.5 inches by 300 pixels. And it's really nice. Now, here's one of those things. Being an art guy, these things drive me crazy, and I can spot AI artwork 8 miles away. Stuff like this. I don't know if you can see my cursor here, right? But these little things going on in here, all this is just wonky pixels, right? This thing mushes pixels around from noise, the way it makes it, and those are distracting. They're just little bitty imperfections. One that probably won't look really good when it's finished. So you clean all that stuff up first. This is one of my pet peeve things. Like it took seconds for you to get this far. How about we spend 10 minutes and make it really nice and you're good to go? But so anyways, so let's do this while we're inside of Photoshop. This is one of the other apps. So we're going to leave Midjourney for now. And we're going to talk about this beta version. So it is not the shipping version of Photoshop, which is 2024. This is Photoshop's beta, which means it's not completely ready to go, but it kind of is completely ready to go. So you can use this only if you want. You might find a bug here or there, basically. But if you take a look at the left-hand side of the screen here, at the very bottom, if I click on that button, look at this. This is like an AI app, right? Here's some inspiration here, just like we saw in Midjourney, like we're going to see in the other apps. What happens if I do this? There we go. What is this? Is that the whole thing? No, only got, for some reason, it's only part of it. All right, we're going to change that prompt. Let's just do a t-shirt. Now this is, well, I want to do it so we can see, because everything I've done in Photoshop and I put t-shirt graphic, not the greatest. T-shirt graphic of a tiger mascot using purple and gold colors, right? Comma, isolated on a white background. And I do that because it's easier to remove that from a background. So I want artwork. Again, I'm the art guy. You want a photo, click on that button. Pretty simple. You can add effects. I'm just going to go with a regular painting effect. That's all I'm looking for. I'm going to hit generate and let it surprise me kind of thing. Your properties panel is where you're going to see that stuff. So if you go to window menu, the properties here, you need to have a checkbox next to it. And it's going to give me 3 iterations, right? That's beautiful. And if I wanted all that frilly stuff around it, it's not really a mascot, but, and I don't know why I got all that mascot stuff, but you know, it gave it to me. Now, I like this tiger. It's just kind of more of an Indian style tiger, maybe even that one. T-shirt graphic of a tiger, a sports team. How about that? So let's change it, right? So we can do that here. We should be able to do that here.
Ken said, Dane, you had to use LSU colors, huh?
Of course I did. Absolutely. It's where my money went. So why not?
And we did have a quick question again. What were the upscale websites that you had recommended?
Upscale. Ooh, that's cool. I like it. Upscale spelled this way, UPSCAYL. And I use I think there is an app or a cloud version. Here's the thing about the reason I don't use those and I use this one. One, it's on my computer and it crunches on my processor. And I'm using a MacBook Pro, right? So just to let you know, I don't have the biggest, most whiz-bang gaming program, computer kind of thing. Oh, by the way, this is Photoshop's generation using Adobe's Firefly AI. This is killer. Considering, right? So if I do this, I'm sorry, I just lost my other train of thought because I'm bouncing around like a ball here because there's so much I want to show. This is so much fun for me. I can do this like literally all day. So let me just do a new here. And all right, so this is the shipping version of Photoshop. Now, if any of you see my secret sauce videos, you'll see it. You've seen something. So I'm going to Command A. It's going to give me my marching ants. Generative fill, and I'm going to punch in what I want. And this is, and I'm going to hit generate. And again, properties panel. Here's my 3, and I don't think these. Well, I'm not going to say that. We'll see what they're going to look like. All right, not so good. Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So how bad can it get from this? And again, 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago now, whatever it is, to that. Not, I can probably prompt and try to get rid of all this other stuff, but just look at the tiger's head itself. And if you get a cool tiger and you say that is awesome and I like it, then you just in Photoshop take all the rest of that stuff out. No big deal. Right? You can paint it out, you can put a path around it and delete it. There's options for you, but that's the new version of Photoshop. That's not shipping yet. It's still in beta. But if you're an Adobe subscriber, go get the beta version. And Firefly's That's their image creation app, right? Their AI artwork app. It's inside the program, so it just does a killer job. And anyway, I wanted to show that. So let's keep going. And I know we're running, getting close on time here. So I'm not gonna save that wonderful piece of artwork. Here we go. Upscale. We're gonna quit that. So this is another one that I do like. So this is Idiogram, and again, they all sort of have this look and feel, right? Here's a web page, inspiration stuff on the homepage. I mean, this is awesome. Check that out. And you can click on it if you like it, and you can say, read the prompt, right? So captivating 3D render graffiti art, right? In the name Ricardo. That's the cool part about Idiogram. So let's just do this. Let's do this. Copy, because it's there. You can do it. And I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna paste it, and I'm gonna say, I mean, Dane. No, it's not Dane. It's not as great, Dane. I'm just saying. Not gonna make any other changes. I'm gonna hit generate, and let's see what it does. I mean, but that's the cool thing about their homepage. It's all inspirational. Just look and see what you like. You can make changes to that. I like this little guy. I'm pointing to it. Like you can see my finger. No, you can't see this one.
So the little alien?
Yeah. I think it's awesome. So, but this, this pirate sketch is cool. I mean, look at this. That's cool. A lot of photography things, but this program is really good with words. It's much better with words than, most other things. Look how cute this is. I mean, anyway, look at that. What? That lion's awesome. I dig it. So yeah, you get the idea. Scroll through, click on it and do something and see what happens. So look at that. Not as cool as his, but hey, I'll take it.
So what you use the exact same text, that he used.
Yeah, but let's just do a different one though, because I did because I liked it, right? I thought it was cool. But I mean, if you wanted to,
but why did it change it so much? Like, I mean, we still kind of get those 3D bubble letters, but it's not the same layout. You don't have that colorful kind of paint drip.
Exactly. So that's the thing about AI, right? It gets you close. It doesn't get you exact typically, right? So, and if you notice, I don't remember what his looked like. Let me, or hers or whoever it was. Yeah, it was all caps, right? So that was all caps, and that's a much better piece. But he could have, and let's do it. Re-rolled this thing and maybe tweaked the prompt. Well, he didn't tweak that prompt because that particular one was the one that was used.
Created.
Yeah. But it's just you just got to keep rolling it. And if you say make it, more shiny, more, those kinds of words, just like if you saw there was a difference and if there's something that you can verbally say, now these are better. This one looks pretty cool. This one is even nice, So anyway, I might use these as my avatar for Teams now.
Oh, there you go. Look at you being creative and changing up your profile picture.
Yeah, right. What? I mean, really. All right. So anyway, so let's say we like which one? I think kind of like them all, but
I do too. I like the first and the third the most, I think.
This one and this one?
Yeah. But I like that there's more gradient on those colors than the second one.
And I could have added at the back, isolated on a white background, right? But let's just do it, right? So isolated on a white background.
Is there a way to take that exact image and then ask for it to isolate it on a white background?
No, that is a Photoshop part. That's what you got to do in Photoshop. It's doable, and it's going to take 15 minutes, maybe, kind of thing, 20 minutes. It's a process, right? So now the next one I'm going to show you. So I know we're getting close in time, but we got a couple more minutes because this Leonardo is the only one that I know of that will put it on a transparent background, but it's just not there yet. It's this. Well, we'll get there when we get there, right? So, I mean, these are not nearly as cool. It didn't really isolate it. This one's kind of isolated. I kind of like the shape of the words, but I much rather the other colors, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, it is, if I click on it, right, you can see what we did here. I could download it again, and same sort of things, right, as the other stuff. Come in here, can I upscale it in here? I can't remember. I can remix it. I can retry it. I don't know what a retry is. I thought that was the same thing. So here's the thing, right? These are words. Let me just do it. Let me do something different, right? Just because, real quick. So I'm gonna go back to the main page. What do you want to design? I'm gonna do, Happy Father's Day is coming up, right?
Yep.
Happy Father's Day. And if I do this as typography, watch, if I click on that, these are models, they're called, right? So basically, fashion, if you want to do something, use painting, anime stuff, all these things. Maybe we can add that too. Why not? So that's what these are called models, and they're learned, or they teach them, like they show them a whole bunch of images that follow on the typography. I'm gonna turn the graffiti part off first. Let's just do this one. I'm gonna hit generate, just to kind of see, and then you can always add things to it, right? So that's, it's kind of like I've beta tested some software and quite, in the past, and a lot of things you would have to do is you make one decision or one change. Because if you change 3 things, you don't know what really fixed it or broke it or whatever, right?
Mhm.
So you do these things one at a time. So I mean, it does, it spelled it right here, it spelled it right here, so sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And these are kind of boring. So let's go back in here and let's add the click on this. Let's add the graffiti one. Why not? Because I did graffiti style stuff. And this is where this literally just says Happy Father's Day, right? I'm not asking it anything else. Now if you hit your little profile icon thing there, it gives you the ones that you just did, kind of deal. And if you notice, well, let's let it finish here. These, you just see one image. All right, we have a whole new family in here. It's not isolated on a white background. I didn't do any of that. I don't see any graffiti text, so I'm not a big fan of this grouping. The only graffiti piece of it is it looks like it was supposedly painted on
Brick wall.
a wall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So, but if you notice the way it works, if you see here, if I like this one, I click on it, right? These are the 4 that were inside that iteration, right? So you can look at them a little bit larger, that sort of thing. Some of these are cool.
Yeah, they really all are. All of them are cool. It just depends on like what your preference is on.
Here's the coolest part though. If I like, I don't know, just this E in this color, I can steal this E. I say steal it. Bring them both in the Photoshop. It's not stealing. I did it
Merging
with AI. It's just, but select that E in this one, right? And bring it into the other one. And I can take a mascot head that I liked over here, and I can put it on top of the body of a different mascot that was better. That's the beautiful thing about combining the AI stuff with your traditional, work, right? Wherever it is, your knowledge, skill set that you have today. If you don't have anything whatsoever, I mean, you've seen already, we got some pretty cool stuff right out of the gate, right? But if you know how to do things, just imagine a time it's going to save you to do those kind of, like, I love that one white tiger head. I could grab that one and put it on the body of a different one that, the head might've been weaker. I could change the hand from one and put it on top, so there's a lot of things. And then still with your skill set, you just created something that would take a day to paint or do. And you did it still, even with all that work in Photoshop, half hour. I mean, what? It's a force multiplier for anybody that wants to use this stuff. So you have to. Until they take it away, I don't think that's ever going to happen. They got some serious lawsuits going on with the open AI things, but I still think it's out of the box and there's no getting it back. All right, real quick. Leonardo's pretty slick, right? So this is their app, and I got the dark scale. I like looking at stuff in the dark. I'm usually don't have these lights on, and I'm in a cave, except for that big window. So I like it dark where I'm working. But again, Midjourney, Leonardo here, and see, I got like 8,000. What do they call them? I don't even remember. Credits, tokens, whatever. Right? Everybody's got a thing, the name. But here's the inspiration page, so you can kind of scroll through, and Leonardo is based off open source Stable Diffusion, right? So if you ever heard of that, it's probably one of the most popular ones used, but it's mostly for, look how cool this little guy is. I dig that little sticker.
Little cat.
So if you click on it, let's see what it is.
Dog?
Yeah, it's a dog. colorful dog head in a pop art style. Stickers, that's another word to use. And you get, here's a for instance, doesn't say anything about in this prompt here. Now, about, if you look at the negative prompt, no nude, no NS, not safe for work, no, again, stable. But I have the settings set to where these are off in my thing. But if you're going to do something and you wanted it to be colorized like this, if you just look digital illustration of a cute black dog, it could be a cute whatever. In fact, let's just go ahead and do it. Right, let's go back. I'm going to hit image generation because that's what we're going to do now. And I'll just put it in here, right? Colorful dog head of a pop art style. Stickers is the keyword here, which you're going to probably get a whiteboard, specifically if you ask for it. You might not sometimes, but most often you'll get most high quality detail illustration of a cute. What? We're going to do a cute
Poodle
wearing sunglasses in awesome full color. I don't know. I'm just going to hit go. And I didn't do anything over here, right? It wouldn't make any other adjustments. But while it's thinking, the number of images I get is defaults to 4, so I leave it at 4 in here. Photorealistic or alchemy, the alchemy's turned on. That's the art part. This transparency button, though, I didn't click on it, so that's why I didn't click on it, to show you how cool it is. Then this is your format, right? The portraits, the one-to-ones. See, those are cool. And then there's none of these that are really done on a white background except this one, but he's also cut off. But that's kind of cute, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's do this. If I come over here and I put this transparency button on, and I'm not going to do any changes, and we're just going to let it run again, it should generate on a transparent background. Now, the weird thing is, even though I didn't put the word transparent in my description, it is part of this button that I clicked. We might get not safe for work warnings on some of these. And I don't know why. But if we do, every other time that I've ever done it, if I click on it, it's totally fine. I don't understand why it's there. So it's just some sort of bug or something in it. But if we get any, I'm going to move it off to my, all right, we didn't. We're good. So look at this.
I was getting ready to say,
I'm going to move it off to my screen and take a look first, right?
Here, let me pull it back up.
Right. All right. So this one's kind of cool. Let's just take a look at it. See these transparent little checker things? That is a transparent file. So I'm going to go ahead and download it. Right. And there he is. So if let me see, did I leave? Yeah, beta's up. I'm just going to not save these. So let's see. Where is it? Right here. Look at that. So it will give it to you on a transparent background already. Now, this one, we asked for the white border, right? This is the kind of color, just like a neutral gray color. That's the color I use when I do my paintings. I don't want it to be just gray, because if I'm painting and I got black and white areas, I won't see it. But anyway, that I just dump a color underneath, right, in a layer, and I can see what we're dealing with here. So now, personally, if you want really quick, I'm hit the E key, and I would cut this guy off. I'll go up here and grab me a hard edge brush, reduce this thing down. I don't know if you want the white border. If you do, you can keep it, kind of deal, right? It's got some shading in here. That's just some, you notice see the color difference? That means that this is not, look, we got some gradient stuff going in there. You just got to clean that up. I mean, that's part of the process of, this thing. But you can erase this part. I could use a layer mask and do it non-destructively and all of that, right? I get people say some things about that a lot, and I don't really care, because if it's non-destructive or not. So it's one of those things where I don't want the shoulder part, and it's me doing the arts. I'm going to take it off, right? And it's just one of those things that, yeah, I'm good without it. But there's other ways to continue. I can add the white in there, hit my brush key, right, and hit my D key to get my foreground and background colors. Go to X, make my brush size kind of roughly the same size as this, and just sort of go around it like that. Do a much better job when you're doing something. But just to show you, it's already, for the most part, knocked out. This other stuff here is easy to get rid of. There's multiple ways you can try it. You can do this, but you're going to lose some of that image. So I would just probably select the image, invert it, and delete. But that's gonna, take a couple more minutes. But any questions? I mean, I know I'm bounced all over, but I wanted to make sure we showed the Photoshop component because you do have to work it to get it like you want. You might want to add text in here, and then now you have your finished design, right? That sort of thing. So I know I was all over the place. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. There was
I get going. I'm like, ooh, it's so much fun.
There were a couple of questions, and one of that was, in which Casey Newby, I will probably need you to kind of dive a little bit deeper. Is it free tools? So just go back over what platforms were free, what wasn't.
So Leonardo is a free and a paid, right? So you can pay for things, and let me see, is it let me see, settings. No, I can't remember where it is. But here you go. These are the settings you definitely want to find to use when you're using this. So can I don't remember where it is because I don't do it. I already bought it and paid for my subscription. But when you pay for things, this is typically how all of them work, right? And Leonardo is a free and a paid. Idiogram is a free and a paid. Midjourney is all pay, right? They don't let you generate nothing without paying. So maybe Idiogram is it. Let me see. Oops. Let's see settings. I can't remember. I can't remember where it is. But when you set up when you go there and you set it up, that's where you'll see the pricing information. I just don't know how to find it once I'm kind of in here. But Idiogram is a good one. It's free. Leonardo is a good one. It's free as well. When you pay for them, you get commercial use. You do get commercial use sometimes from free ones, and these two I'm pretty sure are that way. You can use them for anything you want. You don't need to give credit. In the past, you used to want to use the credit the app. Now I know next podcast we're going to talk a little bit more about the legalities of some of this stuff. And I'm no attorney, right? But I do know what I would stay away from, and I'll be sharing that stuff, down the road. But you're good. You can generate anything is the point. And you shouldn't always generate anything.
Anything is not always a good option, huh?
Exactly. Not if you want to stay legal and not get in trouble.
Do you have any other tutorial videos on these programs?
So that is coming because that's stuff that I'm literally actively working on now. You can just kind of follow the Stahls stuff. DaneClement.com. I'm going to start. That's just my website. I'm going to start pushing some things there, which are all interconnected, right? And I have done a bunch of secret sauce videos for the Two Regular Guy podcasts. So if you go to those, you maybe can check a few of those out. It's coming. I'm actively working on all that stuff. I do teach AI art stuff at the shows. So impressions, shows, DAX shows, those kind of things. Find me there.
So, David, I think that answered your question if the program is available on the website. So for Great Dane Graphics, Dane just said that, he's working on getting some content on there. And then in terms of Stahls, if you're talking about Stahls' website, there are videos that get published to the help and education portion, but a lot of our education is published to YouTube. And as we kind of dive in a little bit more into just developing art, understanding art, how it, really can benefit apparel decorators, Dane will definitely be involved more and more on more content that is generated. And then let me see, I know there was one. So just for a couple of quick moments, because I do know that this is kind of a hot topic, because, it does involve careers, opportunities, potential job loss. And it's really just kind of understanding the opportunities and efficiency. How is there a pro when it comes to, AI platforms? And I do think, Matt Hinterling said it kind of the best is artists should adapt to AI image creation the same way that artists in the past had to adjust to the advent of photography. Creative expression has never been killed by technological advancements.
Right.
And that was actually a conversation that Dane and I had just a little bit is, when the iPad was developed, oh my gosh, Procreate came out. Like that gave everybody, look, Dane's got it. I'm sure we would all love to see the entire setup of, Dane's entire creation station. But as technology evolves, we talked about the horse and buggy as to, vehicles today where gas to electric, everything is going to evolve. It's just how you're going to adapt and use it to your benefit. Yeah, there's going to be people that are going to choose to not absorb that information. Yeah, or be willing to adjust. But Dane had so many great points as to all of the pieces we were able to create simply by hitting a button. And then his skill set is really going in and making it better and more to what the needs of whatever you're putting on, the garment, whether it's screen printing, embroidery, direct to film, anything heat printing. So Dane, give us just a little bit of your thoughts in terms of really kind of growing with the process versus, having restrictions against it.
So, real quick, I'll tell you a backstory. A long time ago, like when computers were just coming in, because I'm that guy. Before computers came in, I had one art class, I think. No, it was a year after. So I paid $14,000 for my first Mac setup, my second Mac setup. So I had a SE, little green screen back, about yay big. But the $14,000 when I had a 12-inch color monitor, I was a big dog back then. No hard drive in the computer. I don't even remember the model number it was, but it was insane. But what I saw and what I could do with it, and it blew my mind then. And me, like an idiot, total idiot, I'm like, oh my God, this computer stuff is the jam. I was using Wacom tablets in like 1991, I think was the first one. And I use a Wacom Cintiq now, but the old one had a wire hooked up to it, and I'm moving it on this 12-inch pad, and it's crazy. And it wasn't great, but it was great at the time, But so I jumped into this computer part of it full force. And I literally threw all my paints away. I was just telling Kelly this the other day. I was a watercolor artist, airbrush guy. I did keep my airbrushes, thank goodness, because I got a whole bunch of them. That's what that tank is that you can see it back there. It's not a bomb, wherever it is. I don't know. There it is. So anyway, I got rid of everything. And about 10 years ago, I'm like, man, I'm not getting my hands dirty. These tablets and this screen and all this is awesome, but I missed so I'm really pushing and really been doing a lot more work that way in the last 10 years. But then I had to buy all my paints, buy all my stuff all over again. So don't do that. Use them in conjunction. If anything, I could say use the digital stuff for work. I still do it for fun. I mean, I always have a sketch pad with me when I got my iPad. Care where I'm at in the world. I drag that thing around with me on airplanes everywhere. I paint on a plane. I paint board in the hotel rooms, whatever. I mean, that's what I'm doing. My thumbnail sketching and my ideas for whatever. So I think just embrace it. It's all part of it. Make it yours. Use it just for inspiration if you want. I want this. You've got the idea because you're putting it in, and it's going to give you 4 iterations, and you can say, I like this one, or and it'll take you totally in a completely different direction sometimes. So use it for that. But for work, I think if you don't embrace it for work, whether you're just an art guy that works for a company or you're the owner of a company, right? This will make you a force multiplier. We can do things in 20 minutes, finished full on illustrations that would have taken a week to paint one, but we can probably do 2 or 3 in that time frame. It's insane. So you can't not do it, but you can always make it yours, because not one time have I ever created something and say, oh, this is awesome, let's use it. Nope, not once. I've always, I just don't like this. It's okay, but I think this will be better. So maybe I'll pull a piece out of the other version, put it on top of this one, paint in some other thing. It's whatever your skill set is. But I would say as an artist, embrace it for this, because you will be faster, which means you're going to be more valuable to the company you work for because you can get more stuff done, right? Yeah, it may cost some people their jobs, but it's going to cost, I think, the guy that's going to spend 3 days painting that tiger head, when I can get 4 tiger heads in 10 minutes, well, 10 seconds. If I, as a business owner, I mean, I might get the perfect tiger over here, and maybe that's necessary. Maybe I'm doing my own branded stuff and my own whatever. This is my line, and that's what you want to do. Well, then guess what? You just made your stuff more unique than the other people using the AI, right? So there's a benefit to both. That's why I say use them both. It's just all this is a super cool tool that nobody understands completely yet, but it's gonna, it's just gonna be like just like this keyboard. We all know how to use this thing now, right? I mean, it's the keyboard. So that's what this is going to be. I just think use it. You'll be more valuable in a long run to your employer or your own business,
Well, Dane said it. But I think it's just one of those things where it really is just kind of understanding the potential, right? Like anything and everything can have potential, but it's what you can see going forward with that. And now I am kind of curious because David said never happy with it. So I need to know a little bit more. But I'm sure it could be one of those things where you typed in a prompt and you can't get what you're wanting if you're wanting something specific. But when it comes to the next couple of sessions, like I said, for this series, this is definitely going to be one that will be going on over the next several months. We will dive a little bit deeper into the design ethics and copyright considerations. Now, that will be taking place in June. So just know it's not something that's going to happen in the next 2 weeks, but we are going to dive deeper into questions that are frequently asked in our Heat Press for Profit group on Facebook. And then for those of you that are curious about Applique Getaway, we will be diving a little bit into that as well. Now, for those of you that have tuned in to this entire session, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. Dane, is there anything else that you want to add before we sign off?
Only that, to any questions that they have, send them to us, comment, things like that, because if they want to learn a specific thing, then that just opens up opportunity for us to create and show how to do those kind of things, right?
Yep,
so
absolutely.
And I think if we I love that part of it. That's why I love teaching in the shows. I mean, I'm looking at somebody in the room and they have an issue, and I say, just hang out at the end of the thing, and they'll come over and we'll work it out on screen. Sometimes if there's no class behind me, I'm going to do it right then. So I love helping. So what are you struggling with? Let us know, and we'll try to clarify those things. Because if you're struggling with it, other people are struggling with it.
Always. There is always somebody else.
Exactly.
So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the show where we launch a new episode every week. Thank you for taking time out of your day to listen and join in on the conversation. Want to be more involved in the Heat Press for Profit community? Please head to Facebook and join the Heat Press for Profit group. Now, I will say that yesterday I actually created a thread that was for all of us to put questions in, whether you are brand new in this business, something you wish you would have known 10 years ago. If you have any questions for Dane, please pop those in that question thread as well. It's a great place to kind of capture all of those for any education content that we might be creating. That way we can just push it out to the world. And again, that is a group on Facebook called the Heat Press for Profit group. It is just a giant community of like-minded individuals in the apparel decoration industry that are always sharing tips, tricks, and just great support for each other. So Dane, thank you so much for being our guest today. I appreciate you more than you know. And for everyone tuning in, thank you guys so much. We will see you next Friday, and have a wonderful weekend.
Awesome. See you guys.